our game a while ago. In line with this game, I am going to connect my topic for this day. Our today's topic is all about creativity. By the way, what comes first in your mind every time you hear the word creativity? Maybe some of you are creative in different ways. Just like you're recycling your old clothes, making different kinds of menu, or how you handle your class in using different methods. Actually, when we say creativity, it is very broad because we have different traits and characteristics that we can say a person is creative. And now, our main objective for this topic is how can we use this creativity for us to be effective in our workplace that we belong. Before we start, let us define first the word creativity. According to Boone and Hollingsworth, creativity has been described as any form of action that leads to results that are novel, useful, and predictable. Wyckoff also says that creativity is seeing things that everyone around us sees while making connections that no one else has made. According to Cow, the entire process by which ideas are generated, developed, and transformed into value is also a creativity. First thing that I want to discuss about this topic is characteristics of creative individuals. Creativity is in terms of the traits, attributes, or characteristics that predispose a person to be considered creative. In this view, how can we say that a person is creative? It says here that a person who possesses these traits, then he or she is considered to be creative. The trait perspective also assumes that personal characteristics are more important than the nature of the organizational environment in which the person works. In other words, creative people probably will be creative wherever they are situated. In this view, people who do not have these characteristics will not be creative, regardless of where they are situated. For example, some people are said to be naturally intuitive in that they do not amass facts and test theories. They simply sense things and therefore are thought of as creative. Creativity also has been described as synonymous with originality. People who demonstrate originality also have been found to be more intelligent and to have a preference for complexity. Creativity also has included attention to the personalities of creative people. For example, developed and tested a creative personality scale based on the types of adjectives that people use to describe creative individuals. Some of the adjectives used that were positively correlated with creativity were capable, clever, confident, humorous, original, reflective, resourceful, and self-confident. Creativity resides in the personal characteristics of the individual who do not deny that we all have some creative potential. This view of creativity suggests that although we all can exercise a certain degree of creativity, some of us simply have greater innate creative potential. In the same way as we all can learn to express ourselves artistically, even though only some of us will become artists. Second thing that I want to discuss about this topic is conceptual skills and abilities. Creativity also has been described as involving the use of a particular set of conceptual skills and abilities. According to Kostler, he suggested that creativity is based on the ability to think on more than one plane or more than one level at a time. Creative people are said to possess cognitive skills in divergent thinking and ideational fluency. the ability to generate alternatives or a stream of ideas, linguistic ability, and a strong ability to find association between things or ideas. Skills can be learned, whereas characteristics cannot. Accordingly, in this view, we all can learn to be more creative by expanding and enhancing our conceptual and cognitive abilities. Third thing that I want to discuss about this topic is creativity as behavior. The behavioral view of creativity focuses on actions and activities that result in the development of something new. Creativity is something a person does rather than what the person is. According to Amabel, he suggested that creativity is behavior that results in a novel and useful response to a problem or situation. So a person who designs an innovative and useful new approach to neighborhood crime prevention is creative because he or she has engaged in behavior that resulted in a creative response to a problem. The focus is on the creative product rather than on the personality or skills of the person who developed it. This view of creativity focuses on the outward behavioral manifestations of creativity and places them in context. Creativity not only brings forward new ideas, it is a process that results in actions or behaviors that are functional and useful in a given situation. In that sense, it is not conformity for its own sake, but rather non-conformity with a purpose. Fourth thing, creativity as a process. Creativity also can be seen as a process. In this view, creativity is a highly complex phenomenon involving multiple phases and stages. The emphasis here is on the process rather than on the outcome. The creative process involves both the generation of ideas and the testing of ideas. As such, creativity and the generation of ideas may or may not result in creative outcomes. This process perspective on creativity is useful for thinking about the stages in the creative process and about the roles that different individuals might play in each of these stages. Lastly, an integrated perspective on creativity. This approach is a useful one for public administrators and students of organizational behavior. It recognizes that we are all potentially creative, although some of us may be more naturally suited to some parts of the creative process than others. It suggests that we can learn skills that will enhance our own creativity and then we can support creativity in others. It recognizes that creativity takes place in context and that creativity must be useful and appropriate to the setting or problem at hand. It leads us to think about ways in which the organizational environment may enhance or impede the development of creative ideas and solutions to problems. Finally, it suggests that creativity is an important component of a larger process of change and innovation. Now, why do we need creativity in public organizations? What are the consequences of creativity for public organizations? Why should public servants strive to be creative and to support the creativity of others? How do individuals respond to opportunities to be creative in the workplace? The first answer for that is, for public organizations to be effective, They must craft and facilitate creative responses to increasingly complex societal problems. Organizations and the individuals who work in them must innovate and change as community needs and demand shift. The second answer is the capacity to think of old problems in new ways, to change our perspectives, or to create novel and useful approaches to making our organizations work better and serve the needs of citizens. Next is, creativity is directly and positively linked to organizational effectiveness and to improvements in quality and productivity. It increases the quality of solutions to organizational problems, helps to stimulate innovation, revitalizes motivation, and promotes team performance. Then, opportunity to be creative is important for employees' motivation and retention. It also has been found that managers who are creative and have opportunities to use their creativity on the job are less likely to want to leave their organizations. It even has been demonstrated that innovation and creativity can reduce workplace stress, helping people to become more innovative and creative. Not only makes the work environment less stressful, but also leads to the introduction of procedures which enhance productivity and quality of work. And last is, creativity allows public organizations to be responsive and to develop a new better ways of serving citizens and using resources wisely. Creativity is more than a flash of insight. Instead, creativity can be thought of as a process with five identifiable steps or stages: preparation, concentration, incubation, illumination, and verification. Let's take a look on this creative process. Let's discuss this one by one. First step in the creative process is what we call preparation. In the preparation stage, all parts of the problems are thoroughly investigated. This includes consciously gathering and examining information, defining the problem, and generating alternative ideas for addressing the problem. The purpose is to ensure that all parts of the problem are fully understood. In the preparation stage, a person not only searches for facts, but also searches for ideas and alternative perspectives. Preparation is a conscious mental activity. Therefore, most efforts at enhancing creativity are focused on this stage, on the creative process. Second step in the creative process is what we call concentration. In the concentration stage, the energy and resources of the person or of the organization are focused on solving the problem. The individual, in essence, concentrates his or her efforts on the problem or situation. There is a choice to engage with the process and a commitment to find a solution. This stage is not so much a matter of mental activity as it is a matter of choice. Third step is incubation. Incubation stage is largely unconscious phase of the creative process. It is, in essence, the black box of creativity. There is an internalization and subconscious ordering and reordering of information gathered in the preparation stage. The person cannot force this process. The best that he or she can do is attempt to relax and allow the subconscious to work and ideas to surface. This may involve the combination of previously unrelated thoughts and subconscious struggle between what is and what might be. conscious thought and effort probably interfere rather than help in this stage. Fourth step is illumination. This is the moment of insight or discovery, when the answer simply seems to arrive in the person's conscious mind from his or her subconscious mind. It has been called an epiphany, a revelation, or a brainstorm, a sudden realization of something new or novel. But when viewed as part of the creative process, such insights actually occur after the individual has gathered information and gone through a period of subconscious mental activity during which the brain has worked on the problem. The final step in the creative process is what we call verification. This involves testing and verifying the idea or insight as viable. In other words, the creative solution is evaluated against some standard of appropriateness or acceptability, and the creator seeks corroboration and acceptance of the idea. In addition to these identifiable stages, Poster provided a useful summary of the characteristics of the creative process include the following: long rather than short in duration, ambiguous rather than uncertain and concrete, information rich rather than based on existing information, involving multiple mental models rather than a particular point of view, oriented to defining problems rather than finding short-term fixes, a continuing process rather than one-time event. For the conclusion, recognition of the steps in and characteristics of the creative process is important from several perspectives. First, creativity does not just happen. It is the process that can be observed, nurtured, and supported over time. Second, we do not all have to be highly skilled at all stages of the creative process. Some of us might be better at generating ideas, others might be skilled at synthesizing concepts, some might be good information fostering creativity. Third, not all the stages of creative process are amenable to conscious mental effort. Finally, being creative requires not only tolerating uncertainty and unpredictability, but embracing the idea that creativity can be, to some extent, chaotic and orderly at the same time. After listening on what I have discussed to you, do you consider yourself as creative? I would like to end my topic by giving you a simple quotation by Bruce Garabrat. He said, "Creativity doesn't wait for that perfect moment. It fashions its own perfect moments out of ordinary ones." Thank you for listening. Have a great day. God bless everyone.